Okay, before we start the statistics units, we are going to knock out this quick unit, which is basically for ACT. We're going to talk about matrices, imaginaries, and vectors. And so we're going to start off with matrices. This is a topic that used to be in Math 1 that's been taken out. And first, we need to know what a matrix is. A matrix is a rectangular array of numbers used to organize data. The size is, you do rows by columns, and rows go this way and columns go this way. And it's denoted by R by C. Elements are objects in the matrix. Position is the place in the matrix. And it's denoted by ARC. And it's found by the element in row and column shown. So, for example, if I said A12, it's the element in matrix A in the first column, first row and second column. Okay. The things that you need to be able to do with matrices are add, subtract, and multiply. So when you add and subtract, matrices must be the same size. You add or subtract the elements in the same positions. Scalar multiply basically means to multiply a scalar or a number by every element in the matrix. Matrix multiplication, some things you need to know that it is not commutative. And what that means is AB is not equal to BA. Okay. The main things you will need to do is be able to do this. It says make sure the inside sizes of the matrices match. So if matrix A is a 2 by 3 and matrix B is a 3 by 4, the insides have to match in order for them to be able to multiply. So we can multiply A times B. And the size of the new matrix C is going to be these outside. So this is going to be the size of the new matrix. So the new matrix is going to be a 2 by 4. Okay. If we were multiplying these by hand, we would multiply the row of the first one by the column of the second one, and then we continue that pattern. But we're not going to do these by hand. We're going to do these in your calculator. So you're going to need a calculator. So you either need a TI-84, or if you're in your Androids, there's an app called Calc84. If you have an Apple, the app is called Calculate84. Both of these apps will make your phone look like a TI-84, and it will do these things that I'm getting ready to do in my calculator. Okay. So let's do some. So let's start out by just identifying the size and elements in the matrix. So first of all, the dimensions is basically just the size. And so this has 1, 2 rows and 1, 2 columns. So this is a 2 by 2. The element that is in the first row, second column, so first row, second column is -5. Okay? So this has 1 row, 2 rows, 3 rows. So this is a 3 by 1 row, 2 columns, so 3 by 2. So the element that is in the third row, second column is this guy right here. So that's 5. Okay. This only has 1 row and it has 3 columns. So this is a 1 by 3 and the element in 1, 3 is 9. Okay. Now I'm going to do a couple of these by hand just so you can see how to do it by hand. I don't necessarily want you to do them by hand. I want you to do them in your calculator, okay? So first of all, let's look at what size these are. So this is a 1, 2, 3 by 1, 2. This is a 1, 2 by 1, 2, 3. This is a 1, 2 by 1, 2, 3. This is a 2 by 2. And this is a 2 by 2, okay? So if I'm going to add S plus T, basically, I would say 4 plus -2 is 2. And -1 plus 7 is 6. And 5 plus -1 is 4. And -3 plus -5 is -8. And 0 plus 6 is 6. And 2 plus 0 is 2. And that would be the new matrix. I made that too big. Okay. If I wanted to scale, let's subtract. If I want to do U minus V, you have to be careful with that subtracting because it would be 1 minus -9, which is 10. It would be -3 minus 8, which is -11. 2 minus -7, which is 9. And -4 minus -6, which is 10. Let's skip down here to 3s. So 3 times s is 3 times everything in here. So 3 times 4 is 12. 3 times -1 is -3. 3 times 5 is 15. 3 times -3 is -9. 3 times 0 is 0. And 3 times 2 is 6. Now, let's go do 4 through 9 in our calculators, and then we'll come back and do these multiplication because this takes a little bit more work. So if you pull up your calculators, you'll notice right here, sorry, above the x -1 is a matrix button. So if you do second and the matrix key, it pulls up this menu right here, okay? And you want to edit the matrices. So it lists A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I. So let's go back to our notes and let's label our matrices in A, B, C. So let's make R A, let's make S B, let's make T C, U D, and V E, okay? And then we can change these down here as well. So S plus T was really B plus C, and U minus V is really D minus E. And this is going to be 2 times B minus 3 times C. Let me change some colors here so you can see this better. A, B, C, D, E. That's better. All right, so then B plus C, D minus E, 2B minus 3C. So R plus S will be A plus B, 3S would be 3B, negative 5A. This will be DE, this will be ED, and this will be BA, okay? So, to our matrix. We're going to first put in all of our matrices. So A is a 3 by 2. So when we go and we edit, we're going to edit matrix A. We're going to tell it what size we want. So we want a 3 by 2. And when we put in the size, it'll switch the matrix to the right size so that we can adjust it to the correct size. And then that way we know we put it in right. So 2, 5, negative 3, 7, 1, negative 4. And then we'll go back to second matrix and we'll enter all of the matrices. So matrix B is a 2 by 3. And so that is 4, negative 1. And then matrix edit. Matrix C is a 2 by 3. So negative 2. Matrix 4 is a 2 by 2. Uh-oh. Oh, I hit the wrong button. Clear. So 2. No. This should be negative 2. I hit the wrong button, so let's get to the right place here. Matrix number 4 is a 2 by 2. So 1, negative 3. Second. Matrix E. 2 by 2. Okay. So then we would just put in exactly what we see here. So B plus C, we would put in second matrix. We want matrix B plus second matrix. We want matrix C. And when we do B plus C, we get 2, 6, 4, negative 8, 6, 2. 2, 6, 4, negative 8, 6, 2, which is what we got here. To do U minus V, we'd do matrix D minus E. So matrix D minus matrix E. I think it did not do the minus in there, so let's insert the minus button. 10, negative 11, 9, negative 10, which is what we got. Now, 2S minus 3T. If we were doing this by hand, we would have to do 2 times S, negative 3 times T, then add those together. That's a lot of work. But in our calculators, we would just do 2 times matrix B minus 3 times matrix C, and we would get the answer to be this. And so we would just say the answer is 14, negative 23, 13, 9, negative 18, and 4. Okay? Now, in A plus B, you can look at these and tell they're not the same size. A 3 by 2 and a 2 by 3 are not the same size because they don't have things in the same position. So this is undefined. If we put this in our calculator, you would see that when we do matrix A, plus matrix B, it will tell us that the dimensions don't match. and that we can't do that, okay? It says check the size of the matrices because they're telling us that those don't match and that that won't work, okay? All right, so then there's an error. So our next problem now is 3 times S. So we would do 3 times B. So 3 times matrix B. And that's the 12, -3, 15, -9, 0, 6 we got. So the next problem is -5 times R, which was A, matrix A. And we get -10, -25. So we'll write that down. -10, -25, 15, -35, -5, and 20. Now, I'm going to show you how to do this one by hand, and then we're going to check it in the calculator, okay? Now, according to this, this is a 2 by 2 times a 2 by 2. So we're going to get a 2 by 2, okay? And so when we get our 2 by 2, we get a 1 by 1 and a 1. So this is the positions we're going to have. And this helps me to keep track of what I'm multiplying. So this tells me that I want the first row. Let me change the color again so you can see what's going on here. So I want the first row and the first matrix is rows and the second matrix is columns. So I'm going to do the first row times the first column to get this first position. So I'm going to do 1 times -9 plus -3 times -7. Then for the second position, I'm going to do -3, no, I'm going to do 1 times 8 plus -3 times 6. Okay? And then for T1, I'm going to do 2 times -9 plus -4 times -7 and 2 times 8 plus -4 times 6. Well, what that comes out to is -9 plus 21 is 12. 8 plus -18 is -10. -18 plus 28 is 10. And 16 minus 24 is -8. Now, that's what you would have to do if you were multiplying by hand. So if we put these in our calculators, that's what we would have to do to check it. So we just put DE in our calculator. So second matrix 4 and second matrix 5. And you'll see 12, -10, 10, -8. Now, the next problem is matrix E times matrix D. And remember, I told you that matrix multiplication is not commutative. So we should see that DE is not the same as ED, which it's not. You'll see that these two don't match. So you get 7, -5, and 5, 3, -3. So 7, -5, and 5, -3. And then we'll do BA and knock this out. So second matrix B and second matrix A. And we get 16, -7. And -4, -23. And S was a 2 by 3. R was a 3 by 2. Those insides match, and that's the size of our new matrix, a 2 by 2, which is what we got, okay? And that's what you do. So you really need a calculator, whether that's on your phone or that is a regular calculator, but Desmos does not work for this. So you need to be able to do this. So that's what you need to be able to do. All right, I want to do one problem from your homework. So if you will look at problem number 20 from your homework. It says an artist creates plates and bowls from small pieces of colored wood. Each plate, so you need to set up a matrix. So when you set up a matrix, you label what you know. So a plate requires ebony wood for 100 pieces, walnut wood for 800 pieces, rosewood for 600 pieces, maple for 400 pieces. Okay. Then it says it takes 200 ebony, 1200 walnut, 1000 rosewood, and 800 maple to make a large bowl. And then a small bowl takes 50 pieces of ebony, 500 pieces of walnut, 450 pieces of rosewood, and 400 pieces of maple. So I took all of those words and made a matrix, and I labeled the rows in the columns. It says she currently has orders for 5 plates. And now, how did I know to go this way? Well, let's see. This is a 4 column by 3 row, right? So if I want to multiply anything by this, I want it needed to be a 3 by something. So I know I want to go this way. So I know she has plates, large bowls, and small bowls. So she has an order for 5 plates, 3 large bowls, and 7 small bowls. So now I have a 3 by 1 matrix. I can multiply these two matrices. When I do, I multiply this row by this column. And what that would do is that would tell me all the ebony wood I would need. And then this row by this column would tell me all the walnut wood I need. And then this row by this column would tell me all the rosewood. So if I made this matrix A and this matrix B, it says set up a solve matrix multiplication. So if I do AB, I would get the answer to my problem. Now down here it says next week she has one order for 6 plates, 2 large bowls, and 4 small bowls, and a second order for 12 plates and 9 small bowls. So I could take this matrix C, right, and I could do AC to get the answer here. And so that's what I would do to solve this. So I just wanted to show you how to set up a matrix basically, because this is week 1 and this is week 2. And then labeling the parts for what you need to do in order to solve these matrices. So that's what